right, thank you so much for availing yourself here on a Sunday morning. I hope you're all feeling good after the whole events that happened in Durban yesterday. You did not enjoy yourself too much, so you're still to focus today. Let me salute my fellow colleagues, the generals and the district commissioners that are assisting me in fighting crime in this province, together with my deputies, both from the policing side as well as the investigation. I'm here this morning in order to speak to you about the policing issues that are happening in KZN as well as in the Republic of South Africa. So I'm presenting this briefing to the citizens of this province, and by extension, the inhabitants of the Republic of South Africa, specifically about the work of the political killings task team. It's been spoken about a lot, I'm sure you know that. Let me give a bit of a background about this political killings task team. In 2018, the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, established the Interministerial Committee, which we refer to as IMC, which consists of the Ministers of Police, the Minister of State Security, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, and Correctional Development. These ministers were given a task by the President to ensure that they deal with matters of security nature that affect political leadership in this province. You will recall that the minister had visited the family of the late Musawenkosi Mkhwanazi in Placesley in Pietermaritzburg in May 2018. It was then where this IMC was established by the President. So it is a committee of ministers, not a police-directed operation, but a committee that involves different departments. The IMC at the time met and listened to the investigation report that was presented, the so-called political task team that was established before them. And the observation, amongst others, was that the task team was working in silos. It was compromised, and that it did not have any investigation as well as a prosecutorial plan or strategy. As a result, there was a little or no progress in the investigation and prosecution of these cases. A decision was therefore taken by the IMC to establish a national integrated multidisciplinary task team, which consists of the South African Police Service, the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, supported by both state security as well as correctional services, which commenced its work in July of 2018 to implement the now tried and tested analysis-led and prosecution-driven investigation strategy. As a result of the excellent performance, the political killings task team has been assigned in another presidential intervention project. I can name the few: the killing of the traditional leaders in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as well as the murders that happened in the University of Fort Hare in the Eastern Cape. Since the establishment of this political killings task team in July 2018, the team has been investigating a total of 612 case dockets. These case dockets include murders, attempted murders, intimidation, conspiracy to commit murders, and other cases. A total of 436 suspects were arrested and charged. 156 firearms were recovered, of which 55 of them were linked directly with ballistically through our forensic testing to the political related cases. An additional 35 suspects who are members of the South African Police Service were arrested. The notable one is the one who's now in prison, who's been working with the parliamentarian who was involved in the murder, about the murder of one Sindiso Magagwa. We're going to talk about that later. A total of 128 accused were found guilty on 106 cases. 29 accused were sentenced to life in prison. 40 accused were sentenced between 10 to 35 years. 25 accused were sentenced between 1 to 9 years. 23 accused were sentenced between 3 to 12 months. And there's quite a lot of awaiting trial prisoners that are going to be finalized in a few weeks. So a total of sentences that is total number of years that has been given, if I add all of them, amounts to about 1,801 years of imprisonment. This is the work done by the team since 2018 to date that have led into the successful prosecution because of this integration working between the SAPS and the prosecution. On the 26th of March 2025, this year, a total of 121 case dockets that were under investigation were taken away from the task team as directed by a Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, a Lieutenant General Sibia, who was acting on the instruction of the Minister of Police to disband the team. This was done without the authority of the National Commissioner, nor I, as a Provincial Commissioner, was never informed. These case dockets have since March been sitting at the head office ever since, without any investigation work done on them. 5 of these dockets had already instruction to arrest perpetrators, but nothing has been done because a Lieutenant General Sibia, being instructed by the minister, or well, executing instruction of the minister, withdrew all these dockets and they are sitting in a archive in his office in Pretoria. God knows why. Therefore, only a total of 112 dockets which are still in court, of which 54 of them are political related and others will include parallel ad hoc, as well as the dockets that are involving the incident at Fort Hare University, and 5 of them are traditional leadership, are still with the team at this present moment. In the year 2022, a request was received from Gauteng Organized Crime Investigating Unit to assist with the investigation to dismantle the organized crime syndicate that was operating in Gauteng, that was controlled in Gauteng but operating in the rest of the country and in neighboring countries. I, as a Provincial Commissioner, took a decision to deploy 10 members from this political killings task team to go and support this organized crime unit in Gauteng. I can tell South Africans that this decision is a cause for the disbandment letter of this team because they overstepped their mandate of only focusing in KZN. They went to support Gauteng organized crime unit with the dismantling of a criminal syndicate. And I can confirm before the South Africans today that the investigation which these members were involved with in Gauteng has unmasked the syndicate. And this syndicate involves, amongst others, politicians who are currently serving in Parliament. The law enforcement officers include the members of the South African Police Service, the Metro Police, and correctional services. They include prosecutors in Gauteng province, the judiciary, and all these are controlled by the drug cartel as well as business people in that province of Gauteng. This act, of course, undermines the criminal justice system in this country. Mr. Brown Mokhotsi sends a WhatsApp message to myself, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, regarding the allegation on the defeating the ends of justice matters which were widely publicized, which involves an incident that happened at the correctional service at Mpangeni in KwaZulu-Natal. Mr. Brown sends this message in September last year, long before the news came out in public about the incident that happened at Impangeni. He sends this message. In this message that he sends to the Provincial Commissioner, he attaches a police letter and he attaches a copy of the occurrence book, a register that is used at the police station that's supposed to only be accessed by police officers. But Mr. Brown, who's not a police officer, attaches those in his message and he sends it to the Provincial Commission. His word says, is a plot to charge you. Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi also sends a screenshot of a presentation that was made on the 30th of September 2024, a presentation that was titled 2024-2025 Division Crime Intelligence Policies. He sends this to myself, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, as a Provincial Commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal. Surely this must have been a classified information where crime intelligence are presenting their policies. But this man has access to that, and he's not a policeman. When asked to share the copy of this presentation through that WhatsApp communication, he responded by saying, General Khan will brief you next week. There's only one General Khan in the South African Police Service, so is one Lieutenant General Sibiya in the South African Police Service. I've never heard of any other Lieutenant Generals in any other way in the security cluster in the country with the very same names. So I assume that I know very well. He further wrote on the very same WhatsApp message. He said that, I quote, the minister is briefed. He has just arrived in Lusikisiki, end quote. You will recall, colleagues, that we had an incident in Lusikisiki, a mass murder that happened there. And the Minister of Police had gone visiting the families and that crime scene. So after this communication, the Provincial Commissioner called the Chief of Staff, Mr. Nkabinde, the Chief of Staff of the Minister of Police, and asked the Chief of Staff, who is this Brown Mkhwanazi? This Brown Mkhwanazi seems to be traveling with the Minister to Lusikisiki. Who is he? Because I've never heard of him. The response from the Chief of Staff was that Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi is an associate of the Minister, but is not employed in a department. That's when I got a confirmation about Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi. And I asked the Chief of Staff to send the phone number of this Brown Mkhwanazi, of which he did. It is that number that made me to confirm that indeed the person who's sending me WhatsApp messages is the same person that is called Brown Mkhwanazi and is from Northwest. On the 5th of March 2025, the South African Police appeared before the Portfolio Committee in Parliament. A presentation was made to this Portfolio Committee by the Provincial Commission of KwaZulu-Natal, which included the allegations of an associate of the Minister of Police, Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi. The Minister denied on record. Go and Google a visual presentation to the Portfolio Committee on the 5th of March this year, towards the end of that briefing, where the Minister of Police responded and he said he does not know this Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi. He said that in Parliament. However, the Minister confirmed that he knows this Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi during a telephone conversation that he had, which was posted on X under the handler at Load Care. This was on the 30th of March, where he confirmed that this was his comrade from Northwest. The conversation between the minister and that lady is available. You can go on X and find it on the 30th. If it has been removed from that account, as we finish this briefing, I'll share that with you. The evidence has been found in the cell phone of Mr. Vusimus, also known as Cat, Nhlanhla, which shows the communication between Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi and the Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mchunu. As I said, this was the beginning of the closure of the political task team. I'll try to outline some sequence of events. I had said the team left for Gauteng to go and assist organized crime in Gauteng. There was a shooting incident that had occurred in April 2024, where Mr. Swart, a QTech employee, was fatally shot while entering the company premises. QTech has been a long-standing service provider to Transnet. Shortly after the incident, 3 suspects, including a warrant officer, a South African Police Service warrant officer, a detective Tau Pule, were arrested in Johannesburg. During the arrest, weapons that were used in this murder, which was an AK-47 and a pistol, along with cell phones, were confiscated. I must applaud the team in Gauteng who had effected this arrest before the arrival of the team in KZN. It is the challenges that this investigating team of Gauteng encountered that led into the invitation to the KwaZulu-Natal police to go and assist. The KwaZulu-Natal political killings task team arrival, they took these weapons and they went and tested them. So they conducted a ballistic test in order to check whether these firearms were linked with that murder and many other murders perhaps that will have occurred in the country. Maybe let me pause on that one and come back into what had happened prior to us receiving the results from the task team, ballistic test result. On the 6th of December 2024, the task team visited the premises of the 2 of the high-profile syndicate, of which one, Mr. Katiso Molefe, was arrested for the murder of Mr. Swart of QTech. During that arrest, unusual activities were observed whilst the team were busy with the operation. These activities included a dispatching of members of the South African Police Service under the command of a senior manager at the head office to go and interrupt the operation that was unfolding. Fortunately, when they arrived there, the members realized that it is indeed a police operation, so they allowed the members to carry out their operation without disturbance. On the 30th December 2024, the ballistic expert issued a ballistic report which linked these firearms not only with the murder of Mr. Swart, but these firearms were linked with a number of high-profile cases. And these cases include very high-profile South African artists that were murdered in Gauteng, which occurred dating back as far as 2021. I'm not going to mention them, but we have them on record. On the 31st of December 2024, the Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mchunu, issues a letter to disband the political killings task team and to suspend the filling of vacancies within crime intelligence. In January, February, and April this year, the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibia, issued written instructions withdrawing all these cases from the task team to his office. On the 14th of May this year, 2025, the task team arrested Vusi Muzi, who is also known as Cat Nhlanhla, for an attempted murder ×3. I must highlight that this Mr. Vusi Muzi Cat Nhlanhla is an individual who was awarded a police contract of over 360 million rand in 2024. An analysis was conducted on electronic communication of this arrested person. This analysis reveals communication between the arrested Vusimuzi at KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi, an associate of the Minister of Police, as well as the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu. On the 1st of January, the letter is issued on the 31st. On the 1st of January, 2025, Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi sends a WhatsApp to Vusimuzi KwaZulu-Natal, and it reads as follows, I quote, "I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. They must have a solution." And it follows another message. "The task team that came to your house and harassed you have been dissolved. They got the letter on Monday. As we speak, they are bringing all docket to Sibiya." This letter is issued on the 31st of December 2024. This communication is on the very next day, the 1st of January 2025, where it says the dockets have been called and have been sent to Sibiya. Yes, we know the dockets only were sent to Sibiya in March this year. Further analysis of the chats indicates that Vusimuzi KwaZulu-Natal is financially supporting the Minister of Police and Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi's political endeavors. This is supported by the evidence of conversation and the proof of payments of guests for January 8 traveling cost and the Ghana dinner in Cape Town, which was done in 2025. The proof of payment, we have it. As I said, we're going to share with you where Mr. Nhlanhla is sending this proof of payment to Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi. On the 2nd of January 2025, at about 10:05 in the morning, Vusimuzi KwaZulu-Natal receives a copy of the letter of the disbandment of the political killing stars team from Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi, who is an associate with the Minister of Police. I pause to remind you that this is the very same Brown Mkhwanazi that the Minister of Police had denied in Parliament and later confirmed to be his comrade but not involved with police matters. But he's sending this communication. That's what we have discovered through the investigation. On the 14th of January 2025, Mr. Brown communicates with Mr. Vusimuzi KwaZulu-Natal as follows, I quote, "Sure, don't forget to work on your invoices." On the 15th January, Mr. Vusimuzi KwaZulu-Natal responds with a screenshot of an invoice that he has submitted to the South African Police Service, which I guess was due for payment on his contract. On the 26th of January 2025, Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi sent a message to the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, which reads as follows, I quote, "The guy of the funding in bracket 20 is also in Joburg from Tuesday. He is the one I said has a 3 billion contract with SAPS." Close quote. Open quote, again another message. "I am also meeting with the DNC and the COS today." Now, in the abbreviation, the DNC in the South African Police Service is referred to as the Deputy National Commissioner, and the COS will be, in this regard, the Chief of Staff. He says, "I'm also meeting with the DNC and Chief of Staff today in Durban for finalization of Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi's matter." Close quote. Another message reads, "DNC is waiting for the Chief of Staff here. This is very significant." Close quote. This is extracted from the communication of the arrested person. So we ask ourselves a question: is there a theory of conspiracy targeting senior officers involving the Minister of Police in this country? On the 31st of December, we have seen Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi sending the following message to the Minister of Police, which reads, "Minister, I'm going to get the case number and the judgment for you. Now we got something proven by the court. This is a matter now which either Sibiya or the minister can charge Khumalo and apply Rule 9 of the disciplinary regulations of the South African Police Service. It took the Constitutional Court to release a man who was sentenced to life imprisonment through a forced Section 204 confession. Imagine, Comrade Senzo, after 30 years of democracy, having this kind of policing. The good thing now is that these are not allegations, but a court judgment. This is extracted from a conversation that Mr. Brown Mokgoti is sending to the Minister of Police. On the 13th of May this year, the contract of Vusumuzi Cat Matlala was cancelled by the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. On the 14th of May this year, Vusumuzi Cat Matlala sent a message to Brown Mokgoti, which reads, I quote, "Morning, just to let you know that my contract was cancelled yesterday, and I see you've been ignoring me and promising me things that never happened. Luckily, of every conversation, just in case something like this might happen, I'm taking all this to media and some to court on Friday when I do the interdict." Close quote. On the 30th of May 2025, the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, which is referred to as IDEC, requests the exhibits from the cell phone of Vusumuzi Cat Matlala from the Political Killings Task Team, and they download the content of the cell phone. IDEC is a unit that was established to deal with corruptions in the country. We don't know what is it that we're investigating for them to come and ask for these cell phone downloads. On the 25th of May, on the 30th of May, I beg your pardon. On the 25th of June this year, the project coordinator of the Political Killings Task Team is arrested by IDEC. A dramatic arrest. A dramatic arrest. On the 26th of June 2025, the accused, Katiso KT Molefe, who was arrested by the very same task team, was granted bail. Guess that one went under the radar. The work of the organized crime in Gauteng, supported by the Political Killings Task Team, has indeed been compromised. The disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team was influenced by the sterling work that they performed in Gauteng to uncover the criminal syndicate, which involved some members of the criminal justice system operating in Gauteng province, and not because of what I presented earlier, which was the work they did in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Their demise was as a result of them assisting Gauteng to uncover the criminal syndicate. Despite all these challenges, we acknowledge and appreciate the resilience of the members of the Political Killings Task Team. The Political Killings Task Team remains operational, albeit attempt to disrupt its work to protect and serve the inhabitants of the Republic, as enshrined in the Constitution under Section 205, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Republic. The Political Killings Task Team remains operational. Therefore, we have embarked on a process of registering a criminal investigation in order to deal with this infiltration and control of the criminal justice system by the organized crime. We in KZN know that a member of crime intelligence or members of crime intelligence released classified documents and handed them over to a member of parliament. That includes vetting documents, as well as covert properties. We all know in the country that the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence is the one that must supervise the operations of a secret fund account, not only for the South African Police Service, but all the intelligence agencies in the country. That the members of crime intelligence gave these documents to the member of parliament, and the member of parliament registered a criminal case in Gauteng where he was alleging that some of the officials within crime intelligence were issued fraudulent vetting clearance certificates. After opening the case, he sends a communication to the Minister of Police. He asks the Minister of Police to take these dockets and assign them to someone else. The Minister of Police Chief of Staff, Mr. Nkabinde, wrote a letter to the head of the NPA newly established unit, which is referred to as IDEC, Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, to investigate these cases. These are allegations of a manipulation of a vetting process, not a state capture, not corruption. But IDEC receives this communication from the Minister of Police to take these dockets, and IDEC does exactly that. They go and take these dockets and they investigate them. I wonder whether is this what the unit IDEC was established for? The Minister of Police invited and facilitated the peace talk between myself, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, and the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sibia, in his office, in his house, State House, official residence in Pretoria. The purpose of this invitation was to try and create peace between myself and the Deputy National Commissioner. It was unprecedented. I've never seen in my life. The National Commissioner was present, but he just kept quiet because it was not his meeting. The Minister of Police felt that he must make me and General Sibia to find peace. Surely, there can never be peace between a criminal and the police officer. As we speak, the South African Police Service, KwaZulu-Natal, still does not have a leader within crime intelligence because of the letter where the minister suspended the filling of vacancies at crime intelligence, which is dated the 31st of December. So to date, we don't have a command of crime intelligence in this province. We are trying to figure out on our own how to infiltrate syndicates because the minister decided these posts must not be filled. The crime intelligence at the national level has no commander as we speak. And we must thank the magistrate who made the ruling that went beyond what the charge sheet against the accused is about, which the members were charged on HR-related matters that dealt with filling of vacancies. The magistrate directed that these members must never enter any premises of crime intelligence in the country. So which means all the work of crime intelligence had to come to a halt. Interesting for us is that another magistrate who then had the matter of the second accused on that case, who had remained in custody last week, did not issue the same condition. He understood that the judiciary cannot get involved in determining whether people must go back to work or not. It is an employer that must make the decision. But I must just indicate to the South Africans that Mr. Padayache, who appeared in court on the day when these police officers were arrested, whom the magistrate referred to as an investigating officer, is a former member of crime intelligence himself. He retired from the police and he went to join this new unit, IDEC. He is now referred to as a lead investigator with no qualification, no investigative experience at all. But he is a person whom the magistrate directs that if anything is wanted at crime intelligence, must go via him. So he gives him a carte blanche to access anything at crime intelligence on behalf of the members that are employed to work there. The vetting section within crime intelligence has more powers than any other units within that space because they can scrutinize everything about the applicant who's applying for security clearance. And they can manipulate that security clearance process for their own benefit. So I stand here understanding, as leading this province of KwaZulu-Natal, that fighting organized crime remains a priority as directed by government. The National Commissioner remains my commander and the command of all of us as we wear this uniform. And we must protect this badge and the police. Commissioner. I call on all men and women in law enforcement, the South African Police Service and Metro Police to stand up and protect our people. Yes, sometimes law can stand on the way to achieve justice. We must choose justice. Thank you so much for listening to me.